My agent said to me, "This is YA," and I'm like, I didn't know. I said, "Really?" He goes, "Well, all your protagonists are teen, and that's where all the money is. So you're a YA author." So I guess now I do say I'm writing a YA book. Damn it! But
there's just always this strange energy of waiting and producing, and it kind of plays with your mind. But I think I've learned that I'm happiest when I'm actually just producing something, doing the writing, and doing it for me, and kind of blotting out potential readers. At a point, I think you have to write with an audience in mind if you plan to sell. But I think when you're really just trying to get words on the page and generate that material, going back to that place, that maybe the child in you that wanted to write, or that earliest beginning of desire to write something, going back to that place mentally and getting the words out, finding that quiet is important, because it is really a roller coaster sort of an industry, and publishing is very much in flux these days, and nobody really knows where it's headed, I fear sometimes. So it's just good to feel sort of centered about your craft and your writing personally, what it is that you get out of it.
Because once you do start publishing, you're probably going to have times because there's so much on the internet, there's so much accessibility. It's a good thing. It's also a bad thing too. It can become very easy to spend your whole day checking your Amazon rankings or your reviews or things like that. All that just gets in the way. And if you focus on the book and what you really love to do, you'll be a happier person for it.
And then you described your way of setting up a book, and you were talking about list writing, and I wondered how you got the insight into a visual learner, a visual thinker's mind. I'm really excited to read your book.
Yeah, I am not really a visual person. I think I am not an artist. I love art. This was sort of my way of getting into the art world. And so when I knew that my character was an artist, I thought, well, she must be a very visual person. And I do have a teaching background, and so I am aware of learning styles, and I've worked a lot with reluctant readers and people for whom writing came very slowly and for various reasons. And so I kind of learned to work with students who needed graphic organizers or had to sketch out ideas before writing something, and I thought that was very interesting. So I don't know how completely conscious I was of all of that when I started the book, but the more I got to know my character, the more I thought, she sees the world through art and through comic books and kind of frame by frame sequences. I just try to read things, read manga, read comics, look at things that she would look at and get into her head, and then kind of look at the world around me and think, what would this look like to a more visually oriented person? What would they pick up on?
I really had no choice but to write in this, but I've always loved the 19th century because it was a time of such change and such excitement and just a lot of fun.
So if I have less research to do, I find that I actually write more. And that's really what I read. I read contemporary stuff. So.
It was great fun for me to go to something called the Hippie Archive at the San Francisco Public Library, where they wheeled out these decrepit cardboard boxes of old hand-drawn signs and letters and all kinds of rich materials. So
beyond that, choosing where a lot of the action takes place and where really the heart of the story is I think any writer's prerogative and task. Who doesn't want to hook up with Robin Hood? I mean, the best part about the romance in my stuff was I got to write a much better, woman for Robin Hood to hook up with. I mean, Married Marian is kind of a wimp. And she's really kind of an idiot in most versions of Robin Hood. She's just even Mary Master Giacomo whatever in the Prince of Thieves one is just Fanny! And that's her big moment when she's I will not marry you, and it's really? That's what you got? My Scarlet is a lot tougher and a lot more on par with Robin Hood. So I loved writing that equal romance.